here and there around the area. It's going to be dry. There's a slight chance for a few showers later, but temperatures, we're at 83 right now at Reagan National. A little cooler for the Shenandoah Valley with temperatures into the 60s, or in the 70s. Hagerstown a little bit cool as well. That's quite a drop, Dave. Okay, and as you can see, there's a lot of sunshine here. And the satellite's going to show you that as well. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but in terms of what's going on right now, it is dry, and the Washington Monument right out that way, which is very cool. If you have any plans tonight, I think you're going to be just fine. It's certainly an issue. Let me show you your future path, because we are expecting some changes as we go on into the day tomorrow. Tonight, we're going to be just fine. There's a slight chance of a shower or two as we head on into the evening hours off to the west, but generally speaking, we're dry. Tomorrow, we're running through the whole day. It is a sunny day. You can feel that.
This is awesome.
Tomorrow night, your Saturday night is when we are expecting the likelihood of some showers and storms, mainly northern Maryland. You folks could see some of those storms, and then that's going to work its way down. So your Saturday night, your nighttime frame is when those showers and storms are going to be likely. We get into your Mother's Day forecast, and temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler because of the cold front that makes its way into the area. So, what do you guys think?
Nicely done, BK. Well played, sir.
Like that.
And your hair still looks great, Bill.
Well, we should probably wrap it up. We should wrap it up by saying tonight we're dry. Tomorrow is going to be a hot day into the 90s, near record temperatures, 93. And then last but certainly not least, your extended ABC 7-day. We're showing you much cooler conditions on your Sunday than we have on your day tomorrow. But again, tracking those storms tomorrow night and into your overnight hours into your Mother's Day. Oh, I hear the chimes. That is the...
That's the end. You're done for
awesome
this
stuff.
one.
Hey, Bill, I can tell you, I think we have maybe 70 years of experience up on the desk, maybe more, and I'm just saying that's the first time any of us have ever seen a forecaster give the forecast while riding a super coaster.
Yes, so well done. Wait, I got to ask, yes. Bill, did you eat today, or did you make sure you fasted before all this?
Did I do what?
Did you make sure you didn't eat at all for the sake of everyone around you?
Yes, yes. No, nice and empty, just for me on the station. And guys, I'll send it on back. You can take it away. But we are going to ride not just this. We're going to try to get on other rides every time. And so we got a lot planned for you coming up over the next 2 hours. We'll send it back to you.
And by the way, the only word I understood in the whole forecast is when he went, sunny! So we got that much.
He pointed to the sky because he was sort of up in the sky. Nice job,
right
Bill.
There.
Thanks, Bill.
And the humidity levels are very low. Next weekend, a few showers. All right, so let's go ahead and fire this thing up. We're going to go up to tropical storm force winds up into the severe criteria. And I have a gauge here I can take a look at. Right now, it's about 5 miles per hour. Not a big deal. You're going to start to see the wave of the hair. We're up to 10. Keep in mind, severe is 58 miles per hour or greater. You get into the 60, that's where you can get some considerable damage to houses. You can start seeing shingles ripped off the roof. We're up to 40 miles per hour right now. I can kind of feel it off to the side. We're up to 55. We are right now hitting 58 miles per hour. This is a severe criteria, and now we're hitting at 60 miles per hour. I don't know if you can hear me very well with that. I'm assuming my earpiece is still in, but we're about 14 miles per hour shy of a hurricane, and that is just a Category 1. Coming up in just a little bit later on, we're going to go all the way up to 115 miles per hour and show you and talk about what kind of damage that can do. Right now it's severe at 60.6. Guys, we're going to send it on back to you out here at the University of Maryland.
Phil's going to go airborne next time.
He looks good. I know. It's like every time we go back to him, he ups the ante just a little bit. You're looking good out there, Bill. You kind of look like a superhero, we were saying.
I can barely hear you if you're talking. I can't quite hear what you're saying.
That's okay. We'll see you soon, Bill. Thank you.
I want to see those tethers actually put to work.
Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly, he is literally on the go with weather to go. He's got his helmet on for safety. He is at the Audubon Indoor Speedway in Manassas. Bill, this looks like so much fun.
It is really fun, and we were talking about how these cars earlier can get up to 50 miles per hour. Now, 50 miles per hour when you're in a regular vehicle is one thing. When you're sitting this low to the ground, it is a completely different thing. And so what we want to do is I'm going to hop out here on the track right now and kind of race along with these guys and talk about some numbers. So if you guys want, you can put that in 2 screens and we'll show you what's happening out today. Another near record-breaking day. We officially got to 90 degrees, record 91, so that is going to stand. But that's here in D.C. Temperature up around Baltimore, there was a record broken there, and the temperature was at 92. It was definitely a hot one across the region, 80s and 90s. The good news is, again, we're not dealing with any kind of strong to severe storms around the region. I don't expect that. The possibility is going to be there for a few showers as we make our way into the late evening hours tonight. It's kind of these pop showers, nothing that we're really concerned about, but it is something that we are definitely keeping our eyes on as things start to transition. Futurecast is going to show you, he tried to get by me there. Futurecast is going to show you that there is that chance for a few showers, but that's going to increase as we head into the day on Saturday. Saturday's your day. You're going to want to plan for some rain if you're going to be doing anything outside for that matter, and it's when it's going to cool down. A lot of people were asking when it is going to cool down, and that is the day. It's going to get back to where we should be. And next week, I'm going to let this guy pass. Next week, looking pretty good around the area where we're going to drop back down into the 70s. So tonight, we're mild, as you saw. Tomorrow, we're sitting right around 91 degrees or so. And then we go into the upper 70s, and then we make our way into next week, and we're in the mid-70s. Now, what's interesting, right in front of me, and I know you're looking at me here most likely, this is Isaac. He's 13 years old, which is just the threshold when you can race into the adult cars, and he is phenomenal. He actually holds the record for the track here for the juniors, so it'll be interesting to see if that holds. But man, what a fun event here in Manassas. You can check it out. There's multiple locations around the area. If you want to get out and get a little bit of speed, it is very fun because it's nice and cool inside when you're looking for stuff to do on days like this. And every track, by the way, is different. So this one here in Manassas is one way. You go to the one in Dulles or any of the others, they're all different. Every last one of them are different, and so that gives you a little bit of a different opportunity to try something unique. Live out here in Manassas at the Audubon Indoor Speedway, I'm meteorologist Bill Kelly. Literally weather on the go. We'll send it back to you.
Wow, Bill, I am truly, wait, don't pull off yet. I'm truly impressed by your ability to give a forecast and also keep on moving. I was getting motion sickness back here watching you go around that loop. How does it feel to be in there?
It's very fun, but you go around and it's a little stressful. I'm not going to lie, especially when you got racers like these guys who are really good. And I'm doing the forecast and kind of turning, and I see them. They're right on my tail, so I'm thinking, do I want to cut one out? Do I want to go in the, So it's very fun. Not gonna lie, a little stressful, just a little baby stressful. But then again, these guys aren't talking on live television delivering a forecast, so I have that working against me. So there you go.
Well, now we know your ability to multitask. We're gonna ramp up the workload. Bill, thank you. And tomorrow, Bill takes his weather on the go.
You know, it's one of these things. I've been doing this for a long time, and it never ceases to amaze me how quickly the snow melts this time of year. Yes, temperatures play a role, but the big thing that we have is this high sun angle. So I wanted to just take a minute and talk about that for a second, because the sun itself has a certain amount of energy. It's not like the sun is that much stronger in the summer or less strong in the winter. It has everything to do with the angle. So for example, let's go back over here to December. This is the first day of winter, December 21st, and the sun is at its lowest angle in the sky. Now the energy that comes across here hits the ground at an angle and is spread out over a wide area. And so what happens is all of that energy is essentially shared by a bigger area. For example, think about a light bulb, a 100-watt light bulb in a closet. You flip on the light, you got plenty of light, you could see whatever you want to do. Now take that same 100-watt light bulb and put it in a warehouse. It has the same energy, but now you're sharing it with a much bigger space, so it's nowhere near intense. Now what happens is this time of year, and by the way, it's called heat energy, and I've drawn this ring on here so you can kind of see that where that is. So now we get to this time of year, the sun angle is a little bit higher. This is still the same width. I didn't change this at all. It is now beating down in a much tighter area. In fact, this is the original ring that I put down. So this time of year, the sun's still putting out the same energy. The difference is the angle is so much greater that it really focuses in. And man, the snow just does not stand a chance. And so check this out. This is Alexandria this morning, completely covered with snow, Bellhaven Country Club. Watch what happens as that sun comes up. There it is. Now the sun's higher in the sky. The sun angle just beats down. And by this afternoon, that snow is pretty much all but gone. Look at this in Centerville. You're looking out over that field this morning. Sun is up. Watch by the afternoon. It gets a little higher. Snow completely melted away. We go over to Rehoboth Beach. same exact thing. Walking up and down the boardwalk there, you can actually see the tire tracks there where the car was. Now this afternoon, you're looking at it, you wouldn't even know there was snow there, and that was just several hours ago. So that is why our snow melts so quickly this time of year. Yes, temperature plays a role, but when that sun is at a high angle like that, you can get a 6, 7, 8 inch snowfall, and it's gone just like that. Hope that makes sense. Guys, we'll send it back over to you. So I want to go back. Earlier this week, I got a question on Facebook that I didn't get a chance to answer because of the snow. So go ahead and take a look at this. This came in from Laura Nicholson, and many of you may have been asking this as well. How is it determined that spring comes in exactly at 12:15 p.m. on Tuesday? Not just some
Good
random
question.
Good question. So I wanted to answer that for you. So let's go ahead and take this other computer. And I had built this up, and I wasn't able to do it earlier in the week because of all the snow. So we'll do it now. Kind of keep it simple here. The Earth itself, okay, spins around. We'll kind of put the pieces together. Spins around on its own axis. It takes 24 hours. That's why the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. But the Earth also is rotating around the sun. It takes approximately 365 days, and that is 1 year for us. So you have all this motion going on. You have the Earth spinning around like this. You have it going around the sun. In addition to that, the Earth itself is tilted at approximately 23.5 degrees. And this is very important because the Earth, if it were straight up and down, we would not have weather the way that we know it. We wouldn't have seasons. Everything would be kind of layered like this. It's because of the tilt of the Earth that we have our seasons. So let's talk about that for a second. And first, talk about summer. Now, summer is when the Earth is tilted toward the sun. The rays of light are beaming into the northern hemisphere, and that is why we have our longer days. That's why we have warm weather. And this generally occurs around June 21st. Let's advance 6 months of the year, take the Earth to the other side. It's still tilted at 23.5 degrees, but the difference is the rays of light are now in the southern hemisphere. It's their summer. It's our winter. This, for us, generally occurs around December 21st. That's why our days are short. That's why it's cooler. So now to the question. Twice a year, in its quest going back and forth around the sun, there comes a moment when the sun itself is directly over the equator, and that is what marks the beginning of spring. It's called the equinox. It's derived from a Latin word meaning equal night. It's actually 2 words, equal night, so equal day, equal night. Every place on Earth has 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of nighttime. For us, it's on or around March 21st. This year it was March 20th. And then 6 months later, as it's going around, it occurs in the fall, September 21st. And last but certainly not least, you may have heard that on the equinox you can balance an egg on end. It's kind of something that floats around. That is a myth. If you can balance an egg on the equinox, you can balance it any day of the year. That's why it occurred at 12:15 p.m. It was right over the equator. Michelle, send it back to you.
Wow, I just learned a whole lot, including the fact that you're in shape. You saw those squats you pulled off? Very nice. All right.
There are many factors that go into putting together a winter weather forecast. We look at things like El Nino and La Nina, which is a warming or the cooling of the ocean currents in the Pacific near the equator, and it has impacts locally. We also look at what's happening in the northern latitudes, things like the Arctic Oscillation and the North Atlantic Oscillation. And of course, we look at our local climate and we look at our local history and how these global events will impact us here around the DMV. But before we give you your forecast, let me give you the baseline. So in terms of snow, our normal for a winter is 15.4 inches, with our snowiest month being February. Last season, not that snowy. We only had 7.8 inches of snow total for the season. Now, in terms of temperature, our average for December, January, and February, the winter months around here, is 38.2. Last year, we ended up at 40.1, and we only had one deep cold snap, and that was late December, right into your New Year's Eve, and into January. So, what can you expect for the 2018-2019 season? Many patterns are shaping up. For example, a weak to moderate El Nino. That will impact us locally. We looked at that and a variety of other things and have come up with your official Stormwatch 7 winter forecast. First, let's start with snowfall. We think we're going to see normal to slightly above normal snowfall, with the snowiest month being January. How much snow? Here's a forecast for you. 15 to 20 inches around the region, maybe as high as 2 feet in spots. We think we'll have more in the mountains off to the west, of course, and a little bit less along the Chesapeake. Now, in terms of temperatures, we think the overall temperature average is going to be below normal, with 1 to 3 deep cold stretches, but not lasting too long, with February being the coolest when it comes to departure from normal. And last but not least, the historical chance for a white Christmas, not very high for us, about 10%, 1 out of 10 years. We think the odds are going to be increased a little bit this year, so that'll be interesting to see if that shakes out. But the bottom line, I would have your snowblower ready. I'd get the shovels out, the warm weather gear, because as opposed to the last couple of years, winter has a good chance of returning here to the DMV this time. Yeah, and if you want a detailed look at the science that goes in behind that, we've actually posted a blog on there. You go to the weather section of our website, and then underneath you'll see the Stormwatch 7 weather blog, and that gets into a little bit more in depth with the El Nino and the NAO and those types of things, and you can get a look at that. But I'm excited. I hope this pans out. I'm personally a snow lover. It's been a dismal couple of years, and I know I'm not alone. I might not be in the majority, but I know I'm not alone out there. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out.
I have a big bag of salt. It's been in my garage for a couple of years, so maybe I'll get to use it this time around.
Right. And it's interesting. If you take 2016 and you take the blizzard out of that year, it was a pretty dismal year outside of that. So it's been quite a few years.
Amazing what a blizzard will do for you.
Yeah, pretty much anytime you add the blizzard, it becomes a fairly decent year out there.
All right, Bill Kelly, you are tracking a very busy afternoon.
Yeah, and there's a new warning that just fired up along that line that's out to the west. And I will tell you, it's the leading edge. So I'm going to show you it and where it's going to go. We'll track it. That leading edge is where it's going to be, have the greatest threat for severe weather. And strong winds are going to be what we're looking at. That's what it's looking like in Frostburg right now. So heavy rain associated with it as well. So what you can do right now, again, that's that shot there in Frostburg. Let me show you. Some of you still have a couple of hours till this gets here. So if you're watching, can get home, bring in the patio furniture, close your awnings, bring your trash can up. Wind is going to be our biggest thing that we're going to be dealing with. You can take, if you still have time, trim any branches that may break off. You might want to fire up your generator just in case you lose some power there. Then you have that ready, because it's this line back here that it looks to be the strongest. A few of these showers and storms have started to bubble up here around Page County, moving out of Shenandoah County. Couple of lightning strikes on this one, but the overall focus is up in this region right here where you see these really bright returns. And we've been tracking this and really looking within the storm. And we're looking at some of these tops here into the 30 and even 40,000 foot range around the region. So we're going to be watching that closely. I talked about watches and warnings. There is a new warning that just fired up along this leading edge, and that is right here. And there's where it's flashing, actually. That's out of our area. But this orange is where the current warning is, and that is due to those strong winds, that potential going to move into parts of Mineral County, up into parts of Garrett County as well. And this warning is going to be into effect for at least another 30, maybe 45 minutes. 5 o'clock is when that technically expires. There's a brand new one that just popped up right now. That warning probably out until at least 5, maybe 5 o'clock right there. So as this rolls through, we will continue to see these warnings pop up. Now, in terms of timing for you, this is an overall look. The whole line is moving at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So if we go backward here, around D.C., we're looking at that 6:30 to 7 o'clock time frame, and it's moving from the west to the east. So the farther west you are, the sooner you're going to see it. So Hagerstown, it's knocking on your door in about 30 minutes or so. Winchester, about 5:17. Woodstock at 5:58. Is that the new warning that just fired up? Thanks, Alex. Appreciate that. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, $half size hail. This is the one that I just showed you for Washington County, Allegheny County as well. And then we got Morgan and Berkeley County that was just into that new warning also. Leesburg, you're at about 6 o'clock. Got Baltimore here at 6:21. Warrenton right around 6:28. So again, there it is. That's the new warning we just talked about right there that fired up until 5 o'clock. Elsewhere, severe thunderstorm watch is in effect, meaning conditions are favorable. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast. Let's advance this to, say, 6 o'clock, and that starts moving through. Now it's up and down the I-81 corridor. It cuts through Frederick County up into sections of Washington County. Give it another hour as it makes its way into that easterly progression, and we're looking at timing around 7 o'clock here. Now it starts pushing closer to the D.C. metro, filling in into Fairfax County, down to parts of Fauquier County, Culpeper County, and then it races across into Calvert, Anne Arundel, and St. Mary's County by about 8 o'clock tonight. Once we hit 9, the leading edge, the severe weather threat for us should be off to the east, but we're still watching rain showers, heavy rain, until about 11 o'clock tonight when it starts to wind down. So overnight, temperatures will drop, strong to severe storms starting, depending on where you are, within the next few minutes, up to about 8 o'clock tonight, again, from west to the east. Storms will end overnight. Clouds break, not out of the question to see a lingering stray shower or storm. And then tomorrow, kind of a repeat, doesn't look as great of a threat, but up near 90 degrees with some of those afternoon storms. And then we're watching a very unsettled week. The overall pattern just does not change. It cools a little bit depending on where that front is, but it's going to be a humid week, guys, and very unsettled with a lot of wet weather around the region.
Bill, thank you very much. And